What's up, guys? This is Mike here with Ninja Signal Trading, and this is your weekly update for July 12th. So this is going to be a rather short one because literally most of what I have to say has been said in the last couple of weekly updates. So don't want to beat a dead horse. So on Bitcoin, long story short, we're still in this massive sideways range. Not much has changed. We're literally just aside from, let's see here. Aside from the point of control and the value area shifting a little bit, which the one thing that I do want to add here is this is for the large range, looking more bullish. So for the overall range, because we're accumulating down here, for the people that want to, play this as a Wyckoff accumulation, this is actually looking more like accumulation because you're starting to get some actual volume down here, as opposed to just a quick like down here, right? This was a quick drop and not a lot of transactions down here and straight back up. So this is starting to look a little bit more like accumulation. As I mentioned last week or a couple of weeks ago, the longer that we spend down here, the more that the point of control, if the point of control starts shifting down here, I will classify that as good, right? Because then you have a lot more accumulation going on down here. The only thing I want to point out is this local range we've been in for a couple of weeks. This looks more bearish for the local range. So want to make that distinction. For the bigger range, more bullish. For the smaller range, more bearish. This is the opposite, where a lot more volume is transacted up here as opposed to down here. So I could, that's why in the group we've been looking for the mid 31K range level. There's a lot of liquidity down here. I could see this range breaking down, grabbing this liquidity before continuing back up. But with that being said, we can also do this for a lot longer before, that move that I just mentioned. But, like I said, back here in middle of May, so man, we've been here for 2 months now. So, as I mentioned, back here, I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if we're in this range for 3 months. So, is it out of the question that we, just do this for another month before leaving the range one way or another? No, but if we spend another month down here, I would say the likelihood of breaking up is a lot higher. So there's that for the local range. It is summer, something that Bitcoin likes to do a lot. If you look at last summer, May, so look at this. From this year, from middle of May to middle of July, we're in a range, although this range is a lot more massive. But look, last summer, from May, this actually began in April to May. So let me do this. The whole range was 20%, a decent range, but then, you started right here. You started, playing within a couple of percent here, 10%. And, for the last week or so, this range got really tight, about 5%. But this also ended in, what is this right here? Officially broke out of the range towards the end of July. So that kind of lines up with, what I was saying, a 3-month consolidation, like, this right here. This was a total of 87 days. So right under 3 months, we'll call it 3 months, had a break up, essentially back tested the top of the range, or, close to the top of the range, of the former range right here, tested the value area high. Actually, look at that. Look how perfect that is. Value area high, and then we just took off, right? So that's what I think could happen right now. We just go sideways for a lot longer, break up out of the range, maybe hit that 50K trap area, and then we'll test the value area high of our current range. And that's where we'll see if we find support to go back up, or if that's a bull trap and we'll just come, straight back down. But that's, well and good, but it's a little far away. So, right now, nothing has changed from the last couple of weeks from, my analysis on if you're holding spot Bitcoin or alts. I would still be in downside protection mode, but this is not the time to panic sell. Or if we make another visit down to mid 31K, not the time to panic sell. So that's my analysis. We're still in the range for the long term, but for the shorter term, a couple of things I want to point out. So the point of control, where is this? did shift down quite a bit. So it used to be, started in, the high 36s and then moved to 35s, and now it's in the 34, which is good for the Bitcoin bulls. But I haven't personally taken a lot of trades in this range because a couple of things. So we're sitting, we're sitting in nice longs from the bottom and shorts from right here. And for our long positions, if you look at the funding, there's been a lot of funding for long. So in the long positions, we're literally collecting funding for holding the remainder of our long positions. So this has gone up to like 0.03 for a couple of rotations. So that's been really nice. So if you're just sitting there collecting funding on, your net longs, then, not a whole lot of, reason to take on more risk. So we're collecting some nice funding, but look how technical Bitcoin has been, trading since we took that short. We came down, there's naked point of control. This was a daily right here. Or our time frame. Hit that daily perfectly, came back down. Okay. And then this right here, okay, we hit the golden pocket twice, came back down again. And this was the long trade that we're in right now, the reverse golden pocket. Okay, so that's of this pull right here. Hit that perfectly. Now we're back up. Literally hit the point of control. Okay, I believe we did have a older higher turn time frame level, but we hit the point of control. Perfect swing failure. Now we're back down and we hit the 786. So Bitcoin has been trading very technically, and I believe this was the reverse. Look at that. So golden pocket on the point of control, that's a easy short all day. Plus this right here, we had some very bearish volume delta. So this was probably the easiest trade of the world right here. Sorry, I'm just sipping up my coffee right here. So those of you that don't know, I've been kind of off for 6 days, so I haven't done a lot of trading. So a lot of this is a fresh look for me. But these are the levels. So where we stand right now, I definitely think the market would want to grab all this liquidity. So these stops were taken, but there's a lot of stops under here now, and there's a naked point of control right here, and a lot of people would panic if we come down here again. I personally think that there's just so much liquidity to be grabbed, so I'm a little bit biased towards, taking these lows and, hitting, where is it? This golden pocket at 786 before continuing up. But does that mean we can't go up first? No, I mean, there's a lot of liquidity right here. I personally think we could do one of these and then just continue back up, in the shorter time frame. So that's my perspective on Bitcoin. But so the big long that I'm looking for is this one right here. So the mid 31.5. I'll just put a little emoji by there. So that's what I'm looking for. Not much has changed, but we've also been looking for this long for a couple of weeks now. Just same thing. This short I was waiting for 2 weeks. This one we're waiting for 2.5 weeks. So this one probably a week and a half. So this one we've been waiting for 2 weeks. So there's a lot of waiting and patience right here. Might get a little bit more into scalping now that I'm back in front of my computer again. But I mean, there's no need to be overly aggressive, especially those of you that have taken positions, down here and up here. We're just waiting for this to break right here. So maybe some scalps in between, but for bigger positions, definitely waiting for down here or a little bit higher. So that's my analysis on Bitcoin so far. Long story short, this range is very mature, so technically we can break any time now, but I think we see this quote unquote boring or range action for another week or two. So, and then we'll take it from there. But with that being said, we've been in here for 2 months, so could it break out at any point? Yes. So be ready for the levels that I posted to the downside and also to the upside though. So all the swing trades and all that are in the active entries page. None of that has changed. And, just have those on your charts. I know sometimes if we've been looking for an entry for over a month, you tend to forget about them. But just check them out once once a week. Be refreshed on them so you're not caught unprepared when the big move happens. So that's that's Bitcoin. Moving on to a little bit of gold. So as much fun as I've made of this moon phase indicator, and as much fun as we've been having with it. So, okay, so we've had our dark moon phase, and that's worked out very well. Now we have our light moon phase, so maybe it's time for a pullback. This one, this one didn't work out, but most of the other ones have worked out for at least a pullback. So maybe we're looking for a bit of a pullback. But same thing with gold. This has been incredibly easy to trade, right? So I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I posted, where is it? Parallel channel. I'll delete it. What happens when you have too much stuff going on? There we go, parallel channel. So there was this range, right? So I was saying that we were looking bullish on the shorter time frame. So if we got one of these and back test, and I was saying if we got one of these and back test and up, I would take the buy on the back test. And so look at that on the lower time frame, kind of got a back test on the way up. But if you miss this, so this was a this was a nice trade here. You had about 180 pips, about a percent move. Then you got this back test of the channel again, and got a deep stab, and then I'll classify this as a back test again. For all intents and purposes, one could argue that I think I had the channel down here, so it's a little bit lower. So you had this little so look at this. We were in this channel, and it was a nice trading environment. We had a little deviation, came right back in, rejected off the top of the channel, eventually broke. So even if you missed this, you had a back test, second back test right here, and then onwards and upwards. If you took this, that was about 230 pips. Had a lot of take profits there. The fib strategy. Okay, would have produced this nice trade right here. We would have came back down to 786 and the top of the channel, had a nice trade, and again, and then this morning we had the drop again, and then right back. So this has formed a new channel, and this new channel has been very nice to trade as well. If you sold the tops and long the bottoms, this would have been highly profitable as well. So what I'm looking for in gold, so here's the thing with gold, right? We had this massive drop when we were bearish, but then so many people turned bearish, and everybody wants to put in sells. And there's so many inefficiencies right here. I personally think if we are to continue down to some of the levels that a lot of people are looking for, which I'm personally looking for the 786 down here too, but there's so much inefficiency right here on the drop, and so much liquidity to be grabbed that I personally think we can take out some of these pivots and naked point of controls to at least 1865, and then continue back down. So I think we can see something like this, but the other trade I'd be looking for is if this hocus pocus moon phase stuff works and we retest back into the channel. There's a lot of confluence I just posted in the group for a buy order right here before continuing up filling the inefficiencies and gradually continuing down. But if you are implementing range trading strategy, we've cleared this range and we have acceptance out of this range. Right down here we've had a slight deviation, but this was short-lived and right back into the range. This we've been forming a new range for quite a bit. But I would just, so far, if you're buying and selling the the bottoms and the top of the range, you've had a lot of successful trades. So eventually, if it breaks, you'll have one losing trade. But so many successful trades to be had here. But definitely looking for a little bit lower for a bigger buy order, since this range is getting a little bit played out now. or filling some of the inefficiencies for the sell order up here. So so that's it on gold. Let me see right here. So this was, you have a golden pocket down here. So you have a lot of confluence around this 1776, 1777 area. So this is a nice trade right here. But a lot of range environments. Summers tend to be like this, but we're coming out of summer soon. But still, I would say, so here's the thing, right? You don't get large percentages and moves off of these ranges, but they're pretty darn easy to trade, pretty darn easy to scalp. Like, you have a small profit, but your risk is also small because you have an easy invalidation. But it's small profits, but also small risk, so you have a good risk to reward ratio still. Nothing sexy, but just small, consistent rate trading profits. And that's about it. We'll see how the week goes, and if anything major happens on gold and Bitcoin, definitely update you guys. Nothing crazy on JXC as well, although this does look like it wants to come down for retracement. But the thing about gold is, there's supposed to be an inverse correlation, but hasn't been perfectly inversely correlated lately. So I would keep an eye on the dollar index, but still do some separate analysis for gold. So, that's about it today. Just wanted to keep this one short and sweet. For the more in-depth analysis, especially on Bitcoin, go back and watch the last couple of weeks. There's a lot more information there, but just save some time. And this is a good time to practice range trading, but also do it in a very low risk, mild, low volatility manner. And then when the big moves happen, that's where you've had some good practice. So that's about it. Trade safe, stay profitable. See you guys next time.